Welcome to the Rainbow Gateway Oracle. Virgo, whoa, we got Knight of Swords flying out. What's going on with you? Here we are again looking at tarot and stuff like that. Is he going out with someone else and you want to know about that? Let me tell you, he is. Dump him. That's what I'm going to say here. Now, we have the Knight of Swords and the Death card. We got a Knight of Wands. I love tarot so much. How about you? We've got Queen of Cups. Are you new to tarot? I learned tarot over many years and stuff like that, but it really helped me dial into my intuition and trust myself because I was taught by my lovely family members who are not in my life anymore. But they taught me how to hate myself and abuse myself and stuff like that. So I had to go through like 15 years of like therapy and acupuncture and, body work and essential oils and other kinds of out-of-the-box modalities to, get my self-worth back, give my self-respect back. I did the work and found my intuition through tarot, learned how to trust myself, learn how to love myself, learn how to respect myself, have healthy boundaries, all that good shit. Acupuncture is really amazing. I really recommend it. Let's see about these cards coming out, though. I'm just making chit-chat while we pull these. I want to see how they all play with each other right now. So I have this Three of Wands on the bottom. You're waiting for something so bad, and it's never arriving. And you're going, why is my manifestation not arriving? Whoa, I know it works. I've seen it work before. It does work. But you have divine timing problems. This is the thing about God. God likes to take the piss out of us sometimes. And that's what you're having right now. God is going to bring it to you, but you're going to have to wait for it in divine timing. And I hate to be the one to tell you that. Sometimes being a messenger is a real drag because I have to tell things to people that they don't want to hear. But it's the shit that's going to make you feel better and get you out of, the chaos and all the stuff you complain about. You don't want all that anymore. Well, you have to listen to the message and take it seriously even when it's not what you want to hear, okay? And then you go through the stuff that hurts, you go through a thing, you go through a process inside, and then, you shed your skin and you get better, you elevate. But sometimes, you have to go through a real emotionally uncomfortable and inconvenient time. And that's the thing they have to do sometimes is go through that. You have to set some time aside and let yourself cry it out, bang it out, punch it out, get the pillow out, go to the rage room, whatever. Whatever dark feelings are going on, paint it out, journal it out. Whatever you got to do that's healthy, though, look for healthy coping mechanisms when you're triggered AF. All right, go to acupuncture, go get body work, go do a yoga class, go jogging, go, I don't know, get some essential oils, get a massage, do stuff that's, fun for you, but that's not going to drain your batteries like, getting too hammered and stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun, but when you're emotionally triggered, that's the worst time is to go out and get a beer. But that's what we all do because we get triggered. And so learning healthy coping mechanisms would help you counterbalance all of that, because when you start feeling good because you're going to acupuncture, it's going to teach your awareness to go there instead of to the bar. Now, you could still have fun sometimes and go to the bar, but not when you're feeling that way. That's all. And even if you find yourself there, don't beat yourself up. I'm not saying you shouldn't go there. But teach yourself healthy coping mechanisms by going and utilizing those modalities for yourself. And then what's going to happen is, you'll automatically want to go there. You know what I mean? Like, when you really have a directive to go out to the bar drinking with your friends, you're going to go. I know that. I would too. But, when you get acupuncture and stuff like that and get body work and do healthier things for yourself, you'll see that you want to go out less while you're having like a shitty day. Because, you could go out and have a good time and it's fun. But then there are those nights where you go out and it gets to be too excessive. And then you wake up in a shame spiral, you feel bad, you're hungover, you hate life, maybe you ended up puking or something. This is what happens to people when they're having binge drinking problems. That's what's coming up here in this reading. And, there's a need for someone to, add a little bit different energy to their life because they're always going through heartbreak and don't know why. And, there's a problem with your ability to cope emotionally. And then it's also clouding your, vision of where you want to go in life. You can't figure out where to go in life, because you're always sad, and the King of Cups is coming out here upside down. And this has to do with, not having emotional maturity and, having emotional patterns that are preventing you from having that good time, because what's happening is, the partners in your life, they're coming in and, in between every one, there's like a death process you're going through because they're abusive to you, or they're, unavailable to you, or they come in and out real fast, and then you get the next one in, and, there's so much conflict, and there's deception to yourself about these partners, and then it drives all this inner conflict and stuff. And there's so much conflict here, so much conflict. And then you feel not fulfilled emotionally, and you can't understand why you never feel like you have enough in your life, and you're breadcrumbing yourself, but these partners are breadcrumbing you too. They're breadcrumbing you on, emotional connection. Like, there isn't any emotional connection here. It's just pure, raw, passionate, lusty kind of sex. It's not even that good. Sometimes it might seem like it's the best, but what you really do is feel deflated by it. And then you see that they're playing you, but you can't help but get caught up in it. And it's like every time you meet this player, you have to go through the process and die again. And then, you feel better for a short time. Like, you feel like you accomplished something when you get over them because you let them go, But, it gives you a sense of pride when you get them out of your head. But then, the process starts all over again. And that's the thing. You need to change your emotional energy to yourself by learning different coping mechanisms. Learn about self-validation, okay? And that's going to help you emotionally. Learn how to self-validate, and your whole reality would change. And then you can take it from there. Yeah, we got the High Priestess coming out. She's wanting you to know that, You are intuitive about money, where to get money. Your career is good, but make sure you're not being greedy, all right? And that you're not hoarding too much, because it's okay to let, think about the ocean. You have to spend, and then so there's an ebb and a flow. You spend a little bit, you let it go out, but then it'll also come back in. You let it go out, it'll also come back in. When you spend money on bills and stuff, you feel broke, but you have to see that you have everything that you need. And that's not being broke when you have everything you need. And when you have, a home and a car and clothes and food and the ability to go out and spend money and do whatever you want for the most part. I mean, maybe you can't go live in a mansion and you can't, fuck off at work and stuff like that. You still have to go to your job, but you're not broke, But maybe you can't buy everything in the world, but you have everything you need. You have more than what you need. And it's time to take a step back and be grateful for what you have instead of thinking it's not good enough and you need more of it. Because you don't have to impress anyone else, and you have more than what you can even utilize every single day. And you have mounds of things that you think you should donate. Maybe it's a good time to do that and let some of that stuff go, because it'll always come back, all right? And that's what I have to say today.